Good afternoon, fellow human. Welcome to the Human Sanctuary. My name is Tara. Today I feel really called to talk about the potency of emotions and why it can feel so intimidating to experience and express emotions other than happiness and comfort and, all the good stuff. It kind of feels like there's this weird connotation with negative emotions, as if anger, sadness, frustration, jealousy, envy, things like that can feel almost wrong. Sometimes it feels like we're leading ourselves further away from fulfillment and a life of happiness when we learn how to get rid of these emotions, or for these emotions to become soft and almost background expressions. And it's interesting, for me personally, there was a time where I felt that I had to continuously do inner work so that I can get to a life, or I believed that there was a life at some point in the future that I'll just be happy consistently the whole time. And just looking at people of all ages, all genders, all ethnicities, all types of human beings, we're all on a journey to, it seems that there's this innate journey within us to get to a point of complete perfection in some way, or a state of just continuous, consistent happiness. And it's fascinating how, in order to actually find real, sustainable, content happiness, you almost have to go through a process of loving and coming to terms with and welcoming all the negative emotions as well. And it's the irony of that is fascinating. I think sometimes we can get stuck in this loop of pushing through, optimizing, alchemizing, being positive, being optimistic, saying yes, doing all these things. Like, we are constantly working like we're on a journey or a video game of collecting things and memories and places and conversations in hopes that we will cultivate and accumulate a life that we have everything we need, everything we want, and we will get to a point of relief of, I don't have to do so much anymore because I have what I need. And I think that's important. I think it's important for us to work towards a place in our lives that we feel content. I mean, we don't want to constantly be walking around feeling like we're missing something, that something's missing. And I've noticed that there is such a freedom and relief in actually acknowledging and coming to terms with those difficult emotions within you. Sometimes when we cry, or I would cry, let's say for example I'm in the car, it's nighttime, it's raining, and I'm crying my eyes out. It's such a relief to actually embrace that emotion in that moment, to get it out and to cry until you're done crying. And there'd be times where you'd be expressing an emotion, or not even expressing it, you're feeling it. You're feeling it. You're washing dishes, you're gardening, you're sitting on the couch, you're in a group situation, and you're feeling an emotion that you are uncomfortable with, and it doesn't necessarily feel like a positive emotion. We tend to try to use our cognitive understanding of this emotion. I think we try to read the room. Like, is there energy in the room that I'm uncomfortable with? Something someone said? Maybe it's something from the past I haven't healed from and now I've been triggered by it. Maybe it's a preference, all these things. And I think we try to understand why we are feeling this certain emotion and why why? What happened? And what can I do to understand why am I feeling this way? And I think that we do this so that we can learn how to not feel like this again, or learn how to get ourselves out of it, or as if it's a lesson to be learnt, something to grow from, something to alchemize, something to change. And it's just fascinating to me how, in my personal experience, I used to feel that negative emotions was a point of learning, or something that I had to evolve from or kind of heal from, so that I can be a happy person with fulfillment in life. And when you'd have positive emotions and happy emotions, it feels like the success feeling of, this is it, my life makes sense, everything makes sense, I have these things and I feel good, and oh my gosh, this is what I've been waiting for, this is what it was all for. It's as if we've taken negative emotions as a lesson and something to learn from and work from, and positive emotions as evidence that we are succeeding and that we are living life right. So I think that maybe we have taken negative emotions as something that is almost, we've made it almost separate from our path, and happy emotions is the result of our path. And I've learned from my own experience that when I started to lean into negative emotions, it was mainly because I realized that they keep coming back. It's a recurring thing, and I can't make sense of it. I got to a point where I couldn't think my way out of it. I couldn't make it make sense. There was too many places that I could identify this emotion to, as to where this feeling comes from, what caused it. And I realized I have thought so intently and deeply about why I'm feeling this way. It's not going away. I have this huge logical explanation. I can explain to anyone in depth why am I feeling this way. But at the end of the day, I felt that I couldn't think my way out of it anymore. That I have thought about it so much, it's actually not, it's not doing anything. And I felt this feeling of, this feeling needs to go away. I want it to go away, but it's not. And my brain and my logic isn't helping anymore. So I kind of surrendered. I went into a period of surrender. I stepped into a place of, I've watched all these podcasts, I've done all the logical thinking, I understand, I forgive, I've done all this inner work, and this feeling is still so vibrant and potent. You kind of surrender. I just surrendered to it, into allowing myself to feel it fully. And I noticed that the certain emotion that was recurring for me, when I leaned into it, it moved in these waves, where I actually realized how much a part of me this feeling and inner sensation was. As I'm editing, I'm realizing that a great movie to watch is Inside Out. It really captures the experience of wanting to fixate on positive emotions and not prioritizing all of the emotions, and how balancing and expressing all of them openly creates a lot more happiness and contentness inside. And I'm watching Inside Out 2 at the moment, and I'm realizing that, yeah, your emotions evolve as you grow older, and I just think it's a great recommendation. Go watch Inside Out to get a little view into expressing all of the feelings, you know? And let's use sadness, okay? I would cry for what felt like hours, and within that this just expression, and I remember my brain was blank. It was just my body actively getting it out, moving it, without the goal of getting rid of it, but actually just letting it move and flow and be, letting it exist fully. And then after that crying, you kind of go quiet, you know? Your body's not tired, it's expressed this emotion, and life moves on. And I noticed that the more I made space for sadness within me, I would be, let's say, in a social situation, and I could feel it come up, and I think, I don't want to push this away, and I'm not going to question it. So I would go to a private place, and I would actually cry. You let it out, and you let it process, instead of thinking about it too much. The thing is, our biological bodies, it works on a neurosystem within the nervous system, and stimuli, and the subconscious and the conscious mind, it is all interconnected. And we are carrying emotions within our entire body. Sometimes I think we think that emotions comes from this organ. There's an organ here, okay? And we think that this organ creates the energy of an emotion, or this one. This organ does all these things, and it's our nervous system and stimuli is located throughout the entire body. Okay, our skin is an organ. So we have this entire biological movement of frequencies and synapses and communication of the cells. You know, it's these quick bursts of communication within the body. The body and the entire system within us carries the frequency of emotions. Our minds don't have the power to eliminate this experience. Our brains aren't capable of eliminating and removing emotions from our bodies. The brain doesn't do that. And the heart isn't this isolated space of feeling. Our entire bodies carry our emotion. The more I started to actually embrace sadness, anger, frustration, it became very clear to me that these were innate instinctive feelings that were arising for me, that it wasn't aligned to necessarily my past or this or that. And I think that it's good to make sense of why you feel certain things and help you understand that. But there's also a need to let go of this logical control that we have over our emotions, as if we are suppressing and running away from this deep need to feel everything. And I've learned that there is such a relief in leaning into negative emotions, because over time, every time you allow your body to express it instead of suppressing it, you're actually emptying and almost lessening that emotion. You are minimizing the weight of it within your body. If you were a teacup, and sadness, anger, frustration, happiness, confusion, everything isn't expressed properly, that teacup just gets more full and full and full. So when you are expressing emotions, you're actually allowing this teacup to empty. You're allowing yourself to feel and live within this emotion. I used to fear that if you lean into an emotion too much, or if it lasts too long, it means it won't go away, and that will establish my state of life forever. That this sensation that I'm going through right now won't go away. Or sometimes you'd think, oh, it's still here, I'm still feeling this way, I'm still holding on to this is never going to go away. It shouldn't. And I think that's where I'm trying to come from, is that we think that these emotions are one day going to disappear, that one day all of these feelings and things are going to be gone, and the more work we do and the more we kind of compose ourselves, eventually we'll get there and we'll be fine. But there's a need to feel and express sadness, anger, frustration, envy, confusion, as well as happiness, pride, confidence, joy, laughter, love. It's super intertwined. And the more you allow yourself to express these negative emotions, that cup becomes empty, and the emotions of love will become more potent. The positive emotions will also become more potent, and you will notice how they are also not forever. No emotion is supposed to last forever. It's supposed to come and flow as we are moving throughout our everyday. And when we decide to give ourselves the time and space to feel all these things that we've kind of been suppressing and holding on to for a while, there's a period of time of actually it's about emptying your cup, and it's about teaching yourself that you are safe. It's safe to feel these things. It's safe. I think as kids we go through certain experiences where it's not really the right environment to feel this way, or you're not really responding the way that makes everyone comfortable. As kids we're taught to kind of contain and behave in a way that makes everyone comfortable, the whole classroom comfortable, or the whole family event, or if you're in a mall, public spaces, that there's a set way of behaving and performing that is socially acceptable. And I think it is important, but that leans into our innate need to have community and wanting to fit in and not be rejected from the tribe, is to be one with the tribe. But I think that as adults, it's nice and freeing that you can make space for yourself now within your own safety, within your own structure and security as an adult, that you do want to express these things, and you're actually okay if it makes you or other people uncomfortable. So leaning into that feeling of, this is a heavy emotion, and this is just how I'm feeling right now. This is what I'm going through right now. This is how it is right now. It is not who I am. It's not this is my life. It's not I will never feel positive emotions again. It's not the case. There is relief and inner peace that can come from embracing negative emotions. There's a safety in that. And after a while, you won't have that much of it to express. And it will come up at what feels like appropriate times for you. That these emotions that we fear and suppress, they become very little. I wanted to make space to add here that even though we do invest time into expressing and being open with all of our emotions, a life will still inevitably continue, and things will still happen that will imagine and re-inspire those emotions in very different ways. And I think in some way it can restart the clock of sadness in a new way, anger in a new way, happiness in a new way. And we are constantly, and I want to also share that we must continue. There will be relief after expressing and cleansing yourself of old emotions, but life will continue, and you will be faced with feelings like that again and go through it again. And to not beat yourself up for feeling intensely like that again, especially after hard work or dedication. So yeah, I just wanted to share that we are constantly experiencing, and we must feel, and we must allow life to unfold and allow ourselves to feel whatever exists. Yeah, and to not logic our way out of it, and to embrace things as they are for now. Like recurring, because you've gotten it out now. It's not in your cup anymore. It's not in your cup anymore. You'll feel that when you now feel these emotions, it's due to present things. It's due to the ebb and flow of life. It isn't due to this inner state of being, as if your constant state is these intense, potent feelings. It also allows for the stillness in waiting for positive emotions to happen in your life. Instead of feeling like you're seeking it, looking for it, waiting for it, needing it, lacking it, as if it's this hidden thing from us. And I think that when we begin to empty our cups of what feels like heavy and stressful emotions, we have this empty cup that we can fill with happiness, joy, sadness, anger, love, passion, and we are expressing it as we're collecting it. And you realize that what goes in comes out, and it is this constant tea ceremony between yourself and life and energy and emotions, and it can really free you, and it brings you to a place of contentment and inner peace, this calm, consistent feeling of me, of you. It is just you, and your feelings becomes almost part of your story and part of your day, and it adds value to the life that you're living. Now, that the life that you're living right now can become and feel completely aligned and in path with your authentic expression. I feel that the more we wait for some future life that we will feel fulfilled and happy, sometimes we have to make the decision to put ourselves and allow ourselves to go through and express these emotions, finding time and spaces for ourselves to feel these things. It's as if you have to make a decision as an adult to sacrifice some time and sacrifice some energy of accumulating things for your life, and actually creating an intention of, let me actually process everything I've been through up until now. Let me process and express everything that I am, have, feel right now, so that I can empty my cup, so that I can learn more about myself, so that I can bond with myself and trust yourself. You end up creating a very intimate and unique relationship with yourself that you can't find in others. One of authentic recognition, because you become identified and familiar with all the parts of you, all the feelings within you, because you've now created these pockets in time, connecting with your anger, expressing it, and seeing how does it want to move within me, and what do I feel comfortable doing within that moment. Is it to punch a pillow? Is it to silently scream in my room? Is it to go on a hike and scream out in the field? Is it to go on a drive and have music playing, and as you're going through the mountain pass, screaming your freaking lungs out? That is your natural expression of anger. And you'll notice that the potency of it, when it arises naturally within your day-to-day, isn't as intense and intimidating as it has been in the past. It becomes supernatural. It becomes natural, it becomes aligned, and after it's expressed freely, you move forward, and it doesn't linger, it doesn't sit, it doesn't build, it doesn't fill your cup and take up bodily energy for anything. It can be really scary to look at the pain and the struggle that we carry. I think sometimes it feels as though if we sit with those parts of ourselves, that becomes the reality. Or we are constantly moving away from what feels like heavy and difficult emotions, as if we need to build the right tools within ourselves to never feel them again. I saw this one girl who said that you can't really use breathing exercises as a way to suppress your emotions, because you're still suppressing it. Breathing exercises is about being present and being aware. It's not about numbing your body out, kind of convincing it that it is okay, it is fine, it's fine. Sometimes it just doesn't have to be fine and okay. Sometimes we just need to actually lean into this feeling and be with it. And I've learned that sometimes I enjoy feeling more emotions now. I'm not constantly looking for certain specific emotions anymore. I welcome all of them. You welcome any feeling that comes. And your emotions and thoughts don't become so intertwined. It's like we have this intense pull between the heart organ and the brain organ, as if they're completely separate, and it works in completely different ways. I mean, the brain works within the nervous system, the heart works within the blood system. It's almost like the brain is the electrical field and the heart is the liquid field. And they're not, everything is intertwined in your body. Everything leads to something else within your body. And I really feel that the more we actually step into that frequency of emotion, we are creating space and time within this symbiotic ecosystem that we have inside of ourselves to heal and to feel lighter and stronger, and to actually really lean into the sensation of being who we really are, and to stop identifying with our emotions, and to stop identifying with our thoughts. We have the freedom to make decisions as adults now. How do we want to show up for ourselves? And it does take time to actually invest into looking back at your life and realizing what's your upbringing like, what was your social situations like, what were you bullied for, What were you angry about other people for? What are you embarrassed about? What are some really hectic things that happened to you? Difficult things, scary things? To get to know everything about where you are today. And I really recommend journaling or therapy or Reiki, a place that you can go and actually almost process the things that you're wanting to work through. It's fascinating how I think that we take the past as an excuse of why we are who we are and why we are where we are, and we use the future as a beacon of I'm gonna do better, or I'll get there, like we'll get there somewhere sometime we'll get somewhere where things feel better. This is it. And it's a really big and tough decision to say I'm going to sacrifice a little bit of now time, because I know that I want to feel better now. I want to feel and live and express and empty my cup now, so that I can feel fulfilled and content in the future, which will be a now. The more present you are, it's just continuously. When we empty our cup, when our cup is empty, there's space and energy for relief, inner peace, and an inner knowing that when you actually embrace all parts of you, you will finally feel like you don't have to ask, who am I? Or what is my purpose? Because you will realize that there are things about yourself that you admire and need and appreciate and respect. And there are parts of yourself that you want to nurture, take care of, ones that you feel bad for. But there's this innate love that can come from it. When you realize that all these energies makes up who you are. Everything you are experiencing makes up who you are. It isn't a place or a thing or something you can accumulate outside of you, outside of your physical body. There's nothing outside of you that can help you find who you are. So this feels like a really heavy podcast, because I really advocate for mental health, and I think sometimes we also look for that elsewhere, and it's important to take in information and inspiration, but you must also be the one to decide what works for you and what doesn't, and what comes and what doesn't. But if I could say anything to anyone ever, it's learn to love all of your emotions. I love to express anger now. I love a good cry. Sometimes when I'm jealous, I like to think like, oh my goodness, I wonder why. Or you just feel it. You allow yourself to feel it. And then I realized it's because, wow, I have this admiration of this person and something that they've achieved and done, and it looks attractive. And I can imagine it becomes this inner exploration and conversation with who you are and why you are how you are, and just almost bring all these parts of yourselves towards yourself and realize that you are your own inner world, and you are the reflection and the mirror to what you perceive. It is safe and healthy to feel all these things. Become and be a safe space. Allow yourself and your body to empty its cup so that you can have more and feel more. I think I'm gonna leave it there. I love you. Thank you for being here. I just felt really called to sit down and talk about this, and I hope it resonated with you. That's all I could ask for. And yeah, thank you for being here, and thank you for listening if you've made it this far. And yeah, I hope that you have a safe and expressive time exploring your inner world and emptying your cup and learning to be fulfilled now. Thank you. And remember, we're all idiots. No one really knows what they're doing. We're all doing our best. Give yourself a break. Give other people a break. And yeah. Goodbye.